Let's jump right in. Today, we're diving into a truly fascinating biological autobiography. In this explainer, tracing the story of the very organ where every single one of us began our journey. We're going to decode the intricate, life-giving mechanics of the human uterus, but we're doing it through a highly unique, first-person narrative.
This narrative hooks us instantly with a deeply personified approach. Just think about that quote, "You yourself, who are listening to my story, once lived inside me." By speaking as the organ itself, we're brought to this profound realization that this small muscular pouch was literally everyone's first home. It's an absolutely brilliant way to frame the science, right? Because it takes something incredibly complex and makes it immediately personal to every single person watching. You, me, literally everybody. We all started right here.
Now, the crucial point here is just how physically unassuming this organ is before it gets to work. It's hard to believe, but this pinkish, muscular pouch, which is safely suspended by membranous ligaments down in the lower pelvis, weighs merely 2 ounces. I mean, to put that into perspective, it's roughly the size and shape of a small pear. Yet this tiny pear orchestrates the most staggering miracle of human creation, taking 2 incomplete cells and transforming them into a living, breathing human being made up of trillions of cells. Absolutely well.
Okay, moving into part 1, the monthly rest house, a continuous loop.
To really understand this journey, we have to look at the relentless cyclical dedication this organ goes through. From puberty all the way to menopause, the uterus acts as a welcoming rest house on a continuous loop. Just think about the sheer scale of this dedication for a second. 400. That's how many times it painstakingly prepares for a potential pregnancy in a typical woman's life. It's kind of like the universe's most dedicated yet frustrated event planner. Even if the guest only arrives a handful of times, say for a mother who has 3 children, this organ still completes its massive, complex preparations 400 separate times. It never cuts corners, it prepares fully every single month.
So, how exactly does it build this rest house? Well, triggered by the hormone estrogen, which acts basically like a biological command coming from the ovaries, the uterus works tirelessly to lay down a complex, brand new network of arteries, veins, and glands. It actually transforms its inner lining, the endometrium, into a thick, rich surface, which the source beautifully likens to red velvet. And here is a super fascinating detail. During this time, it intentionally stops its own natural muscular contractions. It does this to ensure that if a fragile new life does arrive, it isn't endangered by any sudden movements. Talk about rolling out the red carpet.
Which brings us to part 2, the mid-cycle crossroads, a crucial window.
All of this elaborate velvet lining preparation leads up to this crucial window where biology, chemistry, and perfect timing must align flawlessly for life to begin. In a typical 28-day cycle, after about 5 days of bleeding stop, the highly critical mid-cycle window opens up right between days 14 and 18. This is the exact moment when an egg is released from the ovary surface and begins its slow, vital journey down the fallopian tube, heading toward the awaiting uterus. The timing here is literally everything.
But, there's a logistical challenge. The uterus is a hollow organ that normally holds only about 5 milliliters of fluid. To picture that, it's roughly a single teaspoon. Pretty dry, right? So, because of this dry environment, as the mid-cycle begins, a secondary hormone is released by the ovaries. This hormone prompts the glands in the cervix to drastically increase their production, creating a nutrient-rich fluid pool. This isn't an accident at all. It's a perfectly designed swimming pool that allows the sperm to safely navigate and actually reach the egg.
But what happens if the guest doesn't arrive? If the fertilized egg does not make its way to the uterus, well, all of this meticulous preparation is suddenly unnecessary. The intricate tissue, the sprawling blood network, the velvet lining, it must all be completely dismantled. It's essentially torn down and washed away during menstruation. The stage is completely cleared, only for the organ to bravely and dutifully begin the exact same grueling cycle anew the very next month.
Let's look at part 3, plugging into life, when fertilization occurs.
The absolute most thrilling moment of this organ's autobiography is when the stars do align. The moment the egg is fertilized by the sperm, this rapid and exponential cellular division begins. What starts as just 1 combined cell splits into 2, then 4, then 8. It's growing and dividing continuously as it travels down the fallopian tube toward its new home in the uterus. But this rapid growth comes with a massive immediate risk.
To really understand the risk here, think of the fertilized egg kind of like an astronaut in a space capsule. It has a tiny, built-in food supply that is nutrient-dense but very limited. Because the cells are dividing so incredibly fast, this food supply depletes rapidly.
If the uterus doesn't immediately step in and take over the feeding process the exact second that egg arrives, well, the astronaut starves. The new life will perish, resulting in what we call a miscarriage.
So how exactly does the uterus save it? The fertilized egg actually sends out microscopic, almost invisible wires to physically attach to the uterine wall. Think of it exactly like taking an unplugged computer and plugging it directly into a wall outlet. The moment that connection is made, boom, power flows. Suddenly, trillions of complex, hidden genetic commands are powered on and flawlessly executed. The uterus steps up to provide the warmth, the protection, and the endless energy needed to run the entire program of human development.
Stepping back from the biology for just a moment, the source material frames this wonder within a broader philosophical and religious context. It cites Surah Ad-Dar from the Quran to reflect on the humbling reality that a seemingly insignificant drop of fluid is miraculously granted life, hearing, and sight. It presents this not just as a biological process, but as a profound testament to creation, highlighting that humans are ultimately given these senses and the choice of gratitude by their Creator. It's a fascinating layer to add to the science we're unpacking here.
Which leads us to part 4. Ultimate support. A brand new organ is built.
See, once that connection is made, the workload for the uterus increases exponentially. To sustain this highly vulnerable new life and safely guide it for the next 9 months, the uterus realizes it simply cannot do the job alone. And this brings us to the placenta. This is an incredibly complex tissue that doesn't normally exist anywhere in the human body. It's actually grown on demand, specifically on the inner uterine wall, for one singular purpose: to manage the overwhelming 24/7 demands of the rapidly growing fetus.
The capabilities of this temporary organ are honestly nothing short of astonishing. Growing to a weight of about 2 pounds and a diameter of 7 inches, this red tissue acts as the ultimate multitasker. Since the baby's own organs just aren't ready yet, the placenta steps in to act as the developing baby's lungs, liver, kidneys, and digestive system all at once. It filters waste, it provides oxygen, and it delivers nutrients, carrying this unimaginable workload flawlessly until the very moment of birth, after which it simply departs, its vital mission completely accomplished.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought. If a tiny 2-ounce organ, one that operates completely in the dark, painstakingly preparing 400 times over a lifetime, building and tearing down entire environments just to catch a microscopic spark of life and grow a temporary life support system to keep it alive, if it works this tirelessly against all odds, how should that change the way we view the intricate, awe-inspiring machinery of our own bodies? It's definitely a question worth pondering long after we're done here.